I haven't made a video on this car in 2 years. I think it's time to make a video on this car. Alright, so I'm sitting in my 2013 Subaru Impreza WRX. I got this car October 13th, 2012. Right now it's May 5th, 2018. Yeah. So it's been about, how long is that? Basically 6 years, 5.5 years, give or take. I've got about 47,000 miles, pretty low mileage considering I've had it for almost 6 years. I'm the only owner, and to be honest with you, I haven't had any issues whatsoever. Nothing outside of just standard maintenance and some recalls here and there, but everything has been pretty much perfect. So this car's been really great to own. Like I said, no real problems whatsoever, which is making this video kind of hard to make because I'm just like, what do I talk about? I guess I'll just talk about the stuff I've done to the car and how it looks like now, because in the last video I had more mods and I had it at stage 2, and I'm just running stage 1, stock exhaust, and I'll show you the car. It does look different if you've seen any of the videos before, so let's go ahead and do a walk around. Okay, there she is, very dirty from the California dust, but still looks pretty clean nonetheless. Let's do a little walk around. We can start from the back here. All right, so D-badge to the back, that is still the same from before. Nothing changed there. Still have the red out tail lamps, which have been holding up for the past like 5 years, and they still look, well, I'll show you, they still look really good. I don't even remember where I got those from, but wherever they are, they're good. And wheels, plastic dip still holding up 5 years later. Well, it could use a touch-up for sure, but not too bad. This is my daily, so, you know, it has wear and tear, so it's fine. Moving up to the front here, I do have the, what is the name of that lip? I don't remember the name of it. Headlights are also stock now. I got rid of I traded them out for just stock ones because I was tired of the blacked out look. And other than that, little things like I have the WRX badge, whereas before it was D-badged. Stuff like that. And then the side scoop, these are still painted black, so I think that looks pretty good. They're white from the factory, but I plasti dipped them. Forgot one thing right here. I still have whatever these are called. I forgot what they're called, the little fender WRX things, whatever they're called. I have it plasti dipped to black, but it is dirty or some, I don't know what that is. I need to get rid of these too. These get like so dirty, and I've talked to dealerships and they usually take them off just because they look so bad. Going over here, stock exhaust. I used to have, well, I had a whole bunch of exhausts back in the day. Let's pop the hood here. But yeah, it's been stock for the last couple of years or so. There we go. Everything's pretty much stock. That is a dirty engine bay. I live in California, so it is very dusty. So I apologize for that. Stock intake. Yeah, at one point I had like a cobb intake, and I had coilovers. I do not know what that is. That is like a dead ladybug, a decomposing bug. I don't know what that is. It's gross. Another obvious update is the car is on stock suspension, whereas it used to be on DGR coilovers. I went to stock because I was just tired of scraping all the time, and it was just getting annoying. And even still on stock suspension, it's pretty low, so I do end up scraping every once in a while, but not nearly as bad as when I was lowered on the coilovers. So going to the interior, everything has held up pretty well over 6 years. Some problem spots in most cars is kind of right around this area, and you can see it doesn't really look too bad. I mean, you have some stainage and stuff like that, but other than that, it's held up pretty well, and it's kept its color and all that. As far as the shift boot, this is a JPM Coachworks Alcantara. So this isn't stock, but this has held up pretty well. And other than that, I still have the stock head unit. And going up here to like the headliner, everything looks pretty good, pretty standard. So overall, the interior has held up pretty well. No complaints there. Now I want to get into things like cost of ownership, gas mileage, and I want to go over all my service records over the past 6 years and calculate kind of how much I've spent on that. So let's go do that. All right, what's going on, guys? So now we're in my room. We're going to be taking a look at the service records for the past 6 years. So let's jump right into it. Like I said earlier, I bought the car on October 13th, 2012. So starting from there, the first service was on February 13th, 2013. And that was at 4,279 miles. And that was just an oil change. And it was free because the car was a lease. So I think basic maintenance and stuff like that was included for the most part. So moving on from there, we have June 11th, 2013. And that was the 7,500 mile service, and that was at around 8,385 miles. I did that service, and that was free. So that 7,500 mile service was basically just an oil change along with some other minor maintenance. So moving along from there, we get to November 15th, 2013, and that was the 15,000 mile service. So oil change and some other stuff like that. And along with that, I did an alignment. And I think because just before that I installed coilovers, so I went to the dealer to get it aligned and everything like that. So I had the alignment, and I had couldn't really figure out from the documents. I had something wrong with my tire, I think. I don't really remember. I think it was just a punctured tire. So I got that fixed. And that total comes out to $164.50. But that cost is for the alignment and the tire fix. The service was free of charge. So like I said, and that was at 13,000 miles and 13,604 miles and $164.50 for the alignment and the tire fix. Moving on from there, there's a little bit of a gap. It's like 9 months later in August 1st, 2014. We have another 7,500 mile service, and that's at, this is where the numbers get kind of weird because I didn't really drive the car much at that time, but 7,500 mile service again at 17,637 miles. So only 4,000 miles in that 9 months. Wasn't driving a lot back then, but we did another 7,500 mile service anyway. So oil change and some other basic stuff like that. And that was free of charge. So next we have July 3rd, 2015. So another big gap. This is about 9 months from the last service. So keep in mind at this time I was not driving my car much at all. So that's why there's big service gaps and stuff like that. So on this date I did an alignment and an oil change, and that came out to $83.82. And that was the price of the oil change. Somehow the alignment was free. That's just from looking over the documents or the records. I think there was some promotion at the time or something like that, so somehow I got a free alignment, which was cool. But yeah, the oil change was about $83. Moving on to December 16th, 2015, we have another service that is an oil change, tire rotation, cabin air filters, and a brake flush. And this is at 30,000 miles, and this ran me $333.97. So it looks like the oil change was $70, which is pretty standard. Tire rotation, $20. Air filter replacement, $30. Cabin air filter for $48. And brake flush for $109. And maybe something else, but that came out to $333.97. And that's at 30,625 miles. All right, now moving on to October 14th, 2016. 10-month gap again, but it's going to be hard to believe, but I only drove 3,000 miles in that 10-month gap. So yeah, at this time I was not driving much at all. At this point, I got new tires, and I still have the receipt from Tire Rack here. So I got a great deal on tires back then, and I got the Firestone Firehawk Wide Oval Indies, 235, 45, 17, and they only ran me $68.16 per tire, which came to a total with shipping to $348.20, shipping included, which is super cheap. And the tires are great, by the way. Still happen to this day. They're really good. And to get these tires installed and mounted, it cost me only $64.20. I just went to a local shop at the time, and they gave me a great deal. So when I got these tires in October 2016, the total came out to be $412.20 for the tires and the mounting and everything like that. So that's a really good price. I did my research. I looked around a bunch for tires, and you know, I saved a lot of money doing that. So I definitely recommend doing that if you're looking for new tires. Moving on to just a couple months later, January 4th, 2017, I did a pretty big service. I did a brake flush, oil change, and then they replaced the sway bar end links. I'm pretty sure that's what they did. Yeah, so these sway bar links were replaced. Basically, it was still covered just under warranty. There was, according to the notes, they had excessive play and they needed to be replaced essentially. So they replaced them free of charge, which is really nice because at that point, my car was actually out of warranty. But Subaru still honored it and they paid for everything, which was really nice. Other than that, like I said, it was just a brake flush and an oil change, and that came out to be $211.82, and that was at 34,945 miles. Moving on to about 10 months later, I got an oil change for $76. Nothing else really happened there. That was in October. I'm due for another oil change pretty soon, so I will be doing that. And then just recently, I actually went to the dealer to do an airbag recall, which was free of charge, and everything was fine there. So my current mileage is 47,405, and that is pretty low considering I've had the car for almost 6 years now. So that averages out to about 8,490 miles per year, which is definitely below average. I think the average is around like 12,000 miles a year. And that is over the entire 67-month period that I've owned the car. So with all that said, that brings us up to a grand total of $1,282.40 spent on this car to keep it running. Tires, oil changes, basic stuff like that. And yes, for the first couple of years, oil changes were free, but now of course I pay for them. But if you were to buy a new WRX, you'd be in the same position too, I believe. You'd get free maintenance, depending on your dealership, I think, but you'd probably get free oil changes for a couple of years or something like that. But don't quote me on that. I'm not really sure. That was just my situation. So that brings us up to a very low total of just $229 a year spent on maintenance. And that's over a 67-month period, and that's just basically averaging everything out over that time. So super cheap to run, but this is the first 50,000 miles. Afterwards, yeah, it's probably going to get more expensive from here because, of course, I'm out of warranty and there's more stuff to go wrong now that the car is getting older. Another point I'm going to bring up now is gas mileage and what my average has been over these years. So right now, for the past 10,000 miles, I've averaged 21.9 miles per gallon. Keep in mind, this has been in the state of California, where we use ACN gas, I think it's called, but it's not as good as other 91 octane, or let alone 93 octane, obviously, which is what I used to use when I lived in Florida. And prior to that, when I was living in Florida using 93 octane, I would consistently average 23, 24 miles per gallon. Now, if I were to figure out how much I've spent on gas, it'd be hard to say just because gas prices have fluctuated so much over the last 6 years. But for fun and games, I'll go ahead and give a ballpark figure. I'm actually curious myself what kind of money I've spent on gas in the last 6 years. So I'm going to just take 47,405 miles as my total mileage, obviously, And then I'm gonna just throw in 22 miles per gallon. You know, it's fluctuated from 21 to 24 over the years, so I'm just gonna go with 22 to be safe. And so dividing that by 22, I get 2,154 gallons of gas that my car has consumed over the years. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw $3 for premium gas, because over the years I think that's kind of been pretty normal on what I'd spend for gas, and I don't know, I'm just gonna go with that. Keep it simple, $3. So that comes out to $6,464 on gas spent over the last 6 years, which actually isn't really that much if you think about it. It's a lot, $6,000, but over 6 years, I don't know, it comes out to around $1,000 a year. This is just a ballpark average. It's not actually, yeah, it's just an estimate. And then another topic that I want to go over is insurance. And basically with insurance, if I go over how much I've spent on insurance, it's really not going to be of any use to anybody, because it varies so much from person to person and your driving record and stuff like that. But I will say that my insurance is not that much. Subarus in general just don't really have a very high insurance rate, at least for me and my situation. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that was informative at all and gave you some sort of insight in what it's like to own a WRX over, 6 years. And to summarize everything, it's been really cheap to own. It's been problem-free, no issues, no complaints. Really just, I couldn't ask for anything better. And it's honestly surprising, just considering how much of a stigma there is around reliability with turbo cars and like STIs to be exact, but I haven't had any issues really whatsoever, and I'm grateful for that, and I look forward to owning it for a bit more. I don't know if I'll own it forever. I mean, I love the car, but at some point I will move on. It's been a while, so it might be time for a change pretty soon. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I am going to be posting more content, even though there's been a 2-year gap between this video and my last video, but my last video did so well that I decided I'm gonna really start putting more work into this channel and really start giving you guys good content. So be ready for that, and have a good day. Thanks, guys.